All right, hey everyone. This is Mars and Benny Salas on board. We are going to do a short interview on the first challenge funnel that we did for him, and I'm super excited to have you, Benny.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on this, man. We've been working hard.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we have been known each other for like 6 months now, right?
Yep. Yep. I saw somebody post you and I said, this guy's a rock star.
Yeah, man, thank you so much. So, what I did was I got to know more about you, and before this interview, I was looking at your profile and doing some background research about you, and there's so much about you that I couldn't write, but I've just got a short paragraph. I hope I've done justice to it. So I'm just gonna introduce you for now, and then you can tell more about who you are and what you do. All right.
You got it.
All right, so for those of you who don't know Benny Salas is an empowering professional speaker and highly sought out ICF certified international executive coach who incorporates storytelling and communication to help people excel in their personal and professional development. All right, he is the founder and CEO of That Coaching Guy and of the Build and Grow company, which he recently founded in 2023. All right. He brings over 25 fucking years of professional speaking experience. Dude, I'm just 22, man. You have done this for
I've been
more.
speaking longer than you've been born.
Yeah, definitely. See, that's why it's more like you already know your stuff, man. I was so confident when you were doing the challenge. It's like you'll get the presentations and everything. I know that because you know how to move people and all stuff like that. And that's why I was like super confident in working with you, man. So
I appreciate it.
Benny, tell us a bit about you and like what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I've been, like you mentioned, I've been a speaker for 26 years. I've been a professional coach going on 13 years. And it's been a journey where in 2016, I decided that it was time to finally step into entrepreneurship. I was kind of a late bloomer. I was kind of one of those people who had this like really, all these abilities and skills and education. And I was comfortable feeling like I could help somebody grow their business or company until I realized that I wasn't growing myself. That the only way that I was going to really be fulfilled was to start something. And man, I look at what you've done. I look at what you've been able to build over in your sphere and in your world. And I got to tell you, man, being only 22 and being able to build company and a team and do the quality of work that you do. While you may be impressed with me, man, I'm impressed with you. I'll be honest with you, man. You young guys inspire me, man, because it's like, you know, So I'll just say that you are an inspiration to many people, people who will watch this now, and people who will watch this for years to come. And so I can't imagine where you're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years, man. You are going to be a funnel beast. You know what I mean? You are going to be one of these guys out here that is going to work with bigger folks. And so, man, I'm honored, bro. I'm honored. Again, I'm glad that you and I have connected, and we continue to. I think we both want the same thing, right? Which is success, which is to do good work and to help a lot of people. So, and that's really what's been my life's mission, man. I do that through coaching, I do that through speaking, I do that through training, kind of working in both with entrepreneurs and with businesses and corporations. And this year was very interesting. We launched our Speak More program. We launched our ebook. Back in 2022, we launched, officially a challenge. We launched more live speaking, and this year in 2023, man, we're just gonna take that and we're gonna double down on it. We're gonna do more speaking. We're gonna do more challenges. We're gonna reach more people. We're gonna grow our revenue. We're gonna grow our team. From this in 2022, I started a thing called Build and Grow. My goal was to take Build and Grow was to take 4 coaches through a process. And what I realized with Build and Grow is that it was bigger than just getting in one-on-one coaching or even group coaching. but that people really wanted to scale and they didn't know how. And
Yeah.
so we have developed through this more of a digital marketing component to our agency where I brought other folks in. And the reason why I said, listen, I may not be able to solve that problem directly, but I can solve it if I have the right people who have solutions, right? And so
Right.
now we're working to do the build and grow company as well as to bring on a software that we're using. It's a white labeled software, but the way that we're going to use it, we've actually given it a name called the Lead Flow Pro, right? And the Lead Flow is all about helping people create leads that flow right into what they're offering. And so, these are things that I would have never imagined 3 years ago. I was just comfortable being a coach and a speaker. And I said, man, but there's all of these other things. And I think when I started to understand the market better, when I started to realize what did I need to go from just being this best kept secret to being a voice and really a disruptor in the marketplace. um, a lot of people don't know who I am yet, but they will. They really, really will. I'm telling you, man. They in the next few years, you'll probably see me on some bigger, well-known stages, and that's my goal is to like accelerate this, push this to the next level, work with amazing people, do do good business and help a lot of folks. And so, man, that's where it leads me today. And I'm just excited. I'm pumped up. You know, I can't say anything else than, yeah, building a business is hard, but I'd rather have this kind of hard than the hard of not and then working for somebody else. Like I'll take this hard any day, right? Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. When you say like you want to go on bigger stages, I can literally see you going on to the bigger stages. And like when you say that you are building up the whole system behind to help these speakers to get to the next level, I totally get it because I have seen you work on the back end, and you work like crazy, dude. You are working until like 1 a.m. or something after working the whole day. So that's like a huge thing that you're doing for these speakers and to get them to the next level. And for sure, when I can afford you, I'm gonna get you to help me speak more. Obviously, man, because it's like I see you as the biggest speaker coach that I have known so far, honestly.
Thank you.
And I know that you have that energy to move audience like right on the crowd. And I'm really inspired by that because now that I'm doing these workshops and I can literally see it's so hard to actually get someone to nod in the crowd, and you're like, bro, you get people excited.
It's speaking is an art form, man. It is. When I realized that my creative gift wasn't just about putting words together, but about being able to articulate a message and convey a story and
Mm,
to say things while you have someone's attention. Like they say, you could say a lot by saying a little, right? And a big thing that you have to do is you have to be able to take what you know and almost purify it. It's almost like refine it to a point where this is why I give one-liners, right? I believe I'm like the king of
no.
one-liners
That's
because
it.
you know what one-liners are for me? They're refined thoughts. That's what they are. They're
Mhm.
refined thoughts of wisdom. And what I've done is I've been able to understand when I show up a certain way, I'm showing up in my superpower. And I try my best to always leave an impact and an influence where, you know, you may not remember my name, but you may remember something I said. You will remember something that impacted your life. And so for me, that's how I'm finding, my voice and speaking. And like you said, as you're speaking and you're doing these workshops, there comes a point when it no longer becomes about the content that you're sharing. It becomes about the connection you're making,
Um, Absolutely.
right? Because if you're connecting with somebody, you could say anything to them and they're receiving it, right? when they're not connected, you could say something very significant and they'll miss it because there's not a connection there. And
Yeah,
so, man, continue to again, dude, I see you on like this like course of like a rocket ship, man. Like seriously, like you're going up. And I think, for folks who are gonna work with you now, later down the road, there's I don't know, there's not too many guys. Well, there's no other Muzz out there. But there's not too many guys who understand it the way that you understand it. And I think it's a testament to the hard work that you're doing and the effort that you're putting out there to put quality work, and you're confident about it too. So, and I think that's always a huge plus when you're starting out is that confidence piece. But
mm,
I talk a lot about that confidence piece. It's not something you buy, it's something you build. And you have to build it, man. Can't buy it, bro. There's no like, hey, can I buy some confidence? Not really, but you can build it.
absolutely. And I really appreciate that, Benny. But like, I don't know. Like, did you know about the challenge stuff before we started talking?
I heard about it, man, but you know what? I think when you said it, it was one of those things where I was like, man, that just seems like a lot of work. And I was right. It is a lot of work. Um,
Yeah,
I I'll tell you now, and I think this is how it is. I mean, I was watching something recently on TV, and they were showing an old clip of like Good Morning America or like the Today Show. They were talking about, have you heard of this new thing called the email? It's got this funny little at symbol, and it was talking basically like, this
yeah,
was a
yeah,
blast from the past, right? This is maybe like what, 20 years ago, maybe we started
yeah.
using emails, maybe, right? Like 20, maybe 30 years ago, right? Something like that. And that's what I feel it is, right? It's almost like, you know, it was like, "Oh, what is that thing? I've heard about it. It just seems so foreign," but you knew it was coming. And now you see so many people using this method of putting challenges out there so that people can be drawn in. And um, it's of the saying, I think, that says that if you give your content away for free, that people will pay you to hear it again, right?
Right.
And I really believe that. I believe that if you give value, people want to say, "Man, I heard that, but not that I need to hear it again, but I need to hear that. I need to see my life reflecting that, right? How do I work with you? How do I be a part of your programs, or how do I, purchase X, Y, and Z?" So I think that idea of a challenge seem to fit. And I just think it's going to be a huge part of my ongoing business strategy. To be honest with you, I think it's something that we're going to do. Probably if I know for sure we're going to do it every quarter, but I'm almost thinking do it every other month. You know what I mean? Like if I think once you figure out a strategy and a flow with your leads and your audience, I think it's an easier way to, um, it's like it's basically a 5 day webinar in a way. You know what I mean? Even better than a 5 day webinar, better than a workshop. It's you got a whole front end, back end, automation. You have all of these like things that you do, and you don't realize. But then again, to really get somebody's attention, it usually takes that amount of touch points, right? They say it
Mm,
takes between 14 to 12 to 14 touch points before somebody actually commits, right, to buying. And you think about that, okay, we got 5 days. You got to follow up emails. Yeah, you're giving calls to action. You're giving assignments, right? You're doing all these different things, and so I hope that my goal this year is to really learn how it works for me and my audience, and being able to put quality challenges out there that help people get results, even in the challenge, right? The challenge is not just about information, but it is about evoking somebody to want to take action, right?
yeah,
And so,
right.
and that could be life changing. I mean, I think that could really help someone's life turn around. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know much about it until you introduced it to me, and I'm a fan, man. I think it's a winner.
absolutely. Because a lot of people actually reached out to you and gave some testimonials about how they loved your challenge,
Mhm.
right? And it was pretty good. I looked at those testimonials, and like Sharon especially, she was in the VIP as well, and she was doing really good, right?
Yeah, I mean, she was doing excellent, and even in there was another person, Laura Hartstead. She really started to now also do. It's so interesting because now I'm starting to see the people that were in the challenge doing the some of the stuff that we talked about in the challenge. Getting on, doing workshops, master classes, and that was one of our speak more monetized things was to say, listen, create products, programs, and services that draw people. Make sure you create more visibility. That's a huge part of communicating your message. I can't communicate it if nobody's there listening. And so how do we get out there? How do we, what I call spaces, places, and faces. How do you know what gaps to fill? How do you know what conversations to have? How do you know what platforms to stand on? Like all of that are things now that I'm seeing those that have come through my challenge, whether they've worked with me or not. I'm seeing them do it on social media. I'm watching them, and I'm like, man, I had something to play in that, and you had something to do with that because you built the funnel. you you built the system, right? And I think that's like we never know who's going to come through our events, our activities, our workshops, and we don't know what they're going to be one day. We don't know
Mhm.
the amount of impact they're going to have. But this is why we do what we do, right? To change lives and to see people become successful and reach their goals. And we go through the hardships of figuring this stuff out, being up late at night, early in the morning, weekends. You know what I mean? We make the financial investments in our own growth and development, putting together teams and softwares and all those type of things. And I wouldn't have it any other way, man. So, I think for those that are intrigued by the challenge and really intrigued by starting one, I think you have to get ready to no longer think the same way about marketing, funnels, leads. Obviously, putting on a 5-day challenge is a lot, man. I was like, maybe we'll do 3 days next time, but I think the 5-day challenge it changes lives, man, for sure.
Mhm. And like, did working with us like make it easier for you?
Oh man, you make everything easier. You know how to you get things done, man. You get things done. And I think that's a powerful um you again when you have somebody and again now I see it from my standpoint, right? When somebody comes to me and they want to know certain things, um and I give them game, right? I say here's how you do X, Y, and Z. It's because I've put in the time to equip myself and be prepared to not only answer things but to solve problems, right? It's not just about giving answers; it's about solving problems. And I think, Ben, you've done that to a degree where you make it easier for somebody to want to work with you. You make it easier with the quality and the execution is pretty flawless. So I can't say that for a lot of people, man. I've had some pretty bad people I've paid money to, but not with you, man. Not with you.
Really appreciate that, bro. That really means a lot. But honestly, we made a huge mistake in this challenge. Let's be completely honest. And inside of this, like, if we didn't actually make that mistake, we would have changed a way more lives with this. But with that one mistake, like, would you like to talk about it, or should I talk
Go
about
ahead.
that?
I'll let you talk about it.
So it was more like what we did inside of this challenge was we had an opt-in and where people could just opt in for the challenge, and it was a paid challenge. So the next page was a sales page where people could actually get inside of the challenge in the general experience or the VIP experience. But what we did was rather than sending them to the sales page, we sent them to the opt-in just because of communication. um, some error in the communication inside of the funnel. 140 people opted in, but only 11 people signed up in the sales page. And like 9 people were inside of general experience into a VIP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and bro, we missed a huge opportunity over there because like whatever we did right now with just 11 people and two VIPs, we could have done 10 times more than that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
one, yeah.
It was a
So
learning. I think it was a learning lesson for us both. Um, I think I think when we both said, you know what, let's remove it, that's when we started to see people sign up and pay. We were like, oh shoot. You know what I mean?
yeah,
maybe
absolutely,
maybe one maybe one too many steps, right? But I think, yeah, you know what? Like anything else, right? You try things out, you figure out what works, and you refine it and make it better.
absolutely,
And and I think that's at the end of the day, um, you know, yeah, we could have probably fixed that, right? We could have probably, um, but now we know, right? Now we
oh,
know, and when we do this next challenge, we know uh, it's gonna be a straight shot, straight to the to the checkout, right? Straight to the checkout.
absolutely.
Uh,
But you see, like if um, if we were able to get people inside, and let's say we directly send people to the sales page, and we more and more people actually just sign up for the workshop or the 5 day challenge. It's more like you just need to get more and more people inside of the Facebook group, right? And there's where the magic happens. And
yep,
one thing would be like we just have to crack it once, right? And let it be like 2 to 3 tries, but if you crack it once, we can just replicate that and keep going again and again and again every single month. It doesn't matter how often we do it, right?
yep, absolutely, man, absolutely, bro. It's man, I think overall, um, I'm always about like, okay, what worked, what didn't work. How do we make this better? You know what I mean? Like when something is has gained the kind of attention like I'm excited to do this next challenge. Actually, this what we've been putting together and what we sent you is actually twice the work that we did last time. But I'm more confident about it because now I understand it. Now I know what to look for. And so here's the thing I think for people like, one, if you're gonna do a challenge, do it with Muzz, right? Like make sure you get him and his team to be a part of that and in that process. That's the first thing. Second thing I will say is um, you know, you have to go through the growing pains of learning what you want to see out of it. Right. There's only so much. And I think this goes for a lot of people. And maybe because now we open this other component of what we're doing to streamline in some of the digital marketing. And I think a lot of people have this fantasy about what they think it's going to look like versus the reality of what it's actually going to be like, right? And so in your head, it looks very different.
Yeah,
In reality, it's a whole nother game. There's technical difficulties. There's you actually putting top energy out there that's going to sustain an audience for an hour. It's not easy, right? It's also getting people into the front door. It's great to think about what it looks like on the inside, but if nobody's walking through the front door, who cares what it looks like on the inside, right? How do you attract? How do you build organic flow, paid flow, right? Those are all things that we have to think about, right? Those are investments. But I think if you're going to charge top dollar, and it starts even from how someone comes and connects to you in your challenge, in your funnel, right? So understand that everything leading up to the sale, leading up to the offer, is all about the experience that somebody gets. Create a great experience for somebody, and it's
mhm.
hard to say no. I think it's hard to say no.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's like giving, giving, giving before you make the big ask. There's this really good quote by I'm not sure who said this, but I heard it from Alex Hormozy. He said that the longer you wait, the bigger you can ask, and the bigger your ask can be.
If it sounds smart, it was probably me who said it. Just kidding.
Definitely, I'm pretty sure that you would have said that. So this is that, let's say this, we had around 11 people who got inside of the challenge, and there were 7 watching it live on a daily basis, right?
Yep. Yep.
So now let's come to the fun part. Like, what was the result? Like, how many lives did we
Yeah.
change from it, and like
Yeah.
that
I,
produced
I
me?
yeah, I mean, I feel like, I mean, those 7 people are, I mean, here's the thing too. I think with the paid challenge, I think if somebody pays, they're somewhat serious to get something from it. I think they're invested in making that small, decision to say, hey, I want to, make the time and invest in myself. Those 7 people, we don't know the kind of impact they're going to make. And even those who, like we did the Speak More Monetize. We did it as a workshop to try a different method. And we had some people come in that way as well. But I think, overall, the how you present something is what's key, right? And so, from the funnel, through the automation, through everything, we were able to generate sales from that. We actually had one guy come in who has a company, and that he has a branding company. He's a VP in several places. Um, and what sold him on working with me as a high ticket client one on one was because he heard me for 5 days speak. He heard me share the content. He said, and he's a no fluff kind of guy, right? He's like, I don't really like coaches. He said to me, I don't really like coaches. He goes, because none of them, he goes, I feel like most coaches talk about results, but they don't get any. He goes, I'm actually sitting in your thing and I'm watching you do this. So he goes, so you convinced me, right? And I think that's, he's connected to so many people. If he invites more people into this process, if he become think about this, if people become advocates and ambassadors for your challenge because you changed their life, that goes on and on. All of those are you know what I'm saying? Like all of those are
Yeah,
connected to it. So I just think like, to me, that's the number I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for like who from who from who from who from who. Like it's almost like how does this thing spread? You know what I mean? How does the impact spread? And that's just always been, I think that's always just been my motto and my mindset. So we've had people come through. We've had people take the next step and come into coaching. We've had people come through the funnel and high ticket clients, where both what's been generated and what's in the pipeline right now is, like we talked about, it's probably about 160K um through this funnel.
oh,
You know what I mean? And again, you know what? It's a small number in comparison, right? It's like I would love to be like, yeah, great job, but we got more work to do, right? That's only with a handful of people. What would that look like if we had hundreds of people?
hundred.
If we had, offers that everybody said yes to. You know what I mean? We're like, what would that look like at some point? So I think those are always great goals to have. You have to go through the learning curve. I don't think anybody has it perfect. I think people have perfected it, but I think there's always room, right? And so we're learning, and we're going to learn this time around and make it better, make the experience better, make the content better, more refined, more on point. I looked at some other people's challenges. Oh, I see what they're doing. I like that. I'm learning from that. Okay, I see how they've been following up with the emails. You know what I mean? And their systems are on point. Like those are the kinds of things that we should all strive for. And I think if you really want to go like all in, do a challenge. do do a 5 day challenge or something, because you got no choice but to go all in on it.
Yeah, definitely, bro. It's man, that was some insane life stage, and like, to be on the safe side, can we say that we changed around 10 lives with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If not
Absolutely.
more. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely more, because just as you mentioned that Laura is going to go on and start doing her stuff and start changing more lives on her side, and you're going to play a major role in a part, right? And at some part I would also have some contribution in it, because you see that's the cumulative growth that we have in total, right? Because we do it together, we cannot actually measure how much change we bring in. So
Yeah.
just to be on the safe side, like it's going to be changed, 10 lives that we changed. And because we have a goal over here at designers, and that we are going to change 1 million lives, right? And I'm associating that if we change one life, I'm going to earn $1 from it.
Mm,
And in order to make me $1 million, I'm gonna have to change 1 million lives first.
it's a good goal, man. It's a great goal.
Right? And that's why we are aiming for doing like all of this. Money comes and goes, right? Because we all know that like this number, just as you mentioned, is a very small number, and we need to start putting in more effort to make more. But ultimately it doesn't come to that. And I know you as a person that you are more interested in actually going out and doing stuff for people before you don't really care about how much you're going to make from it. But you know that the impact that you're going to have from one workshop or one speaking event is going to be way more than the money you make from that, right?
Yeah, that's why I try my best to always keep that front and center, because I think people, I think I think if we help a lot of lives and make a lot of money,
Yeah.
I think that's success.
Absolutely, man. So what are we going to do? Stop here and not do any challenges, or do as many as we can?
Oh man, yeah, definitely some more challenges, more challenges. I think there's just there's so much work to do, man. I really do. I think there's so much work to do, and I think there's a whole group of hungry entrepreneurs that need this, that need expert coaching, that need the right systems, the strategies, the structures, so that they can reach their goals. Again, I think I actually heard somebody say today, you know, would I pay my someone said like their child said I didn't want to go to college. They're like, well, the mom was like, years ago I would have said, you're crazy. You have to go to school. You have to go to college. She goes, now I'm wondering what program could I pay for them to get in and learn about how to grow their business. So the way we are learning and educating has changed. And I think, again, you and your team do a great job at putting things together that we can learn from. And I think that's just attributed to you and how you how you make it easier for people because you've done the work in learning how these things work and these strategies. And again, a lot of people still have to catch up to what's going on, but you guys are ahead of the curve for sure.
Appreciate that, Penny. Really appreciate that. And like when you say that about the program thing, it's really how it's gonna work from now on. Like
Yeah.
completely different generations, completely different how people learn that right now. Because I see 15 years old now making a bunch of money in entrepreneurship world, right?
Yep.
So, when is your next challenge, and how can people actually join
Yeah.
it? Watching this right now.
Yeah. So our next challenge, we're looking at, I believe it's the last week of January going into the first week of February. And it's going to, people are going to be able to go to speakmoremonetize.com and sign up for this. We're going to be putting things out hopefully in the next week or so, get things up and going for this challenge. And it's exciting, man. We have a good list of folks that we'll be reaching out to. We'll be doing some live clubhouses, some paid ads. We're going to try to do all the strategies that we need to do to have a successful return on investment, right? Again, like I said, this is an investment you make. It's not just money, but it's time. It's also creativity. It's also, taking the time to learn how these things work. And I think once you learn how they work, I think it opens your mind to just a whole other space that people are playing in. And the last thing you want to do is watch other people play in a space where you feel that you're uninvited. But the question is not that you're invited, but are you willing to show up? Right?
Mhm.
Are you willing to do what it takes to get the kind of results that other people are getting?
That makes total sense, bro. I'm not saying this to like just praise you, but you really are the king of one-liners. Absolutely,
Oh
man.
man, that's funny.
So, what would you say to those, to someone who is at the moment thinking about doing a challenge for their high ticket offer?
Yeah, I think one, first of all, I would encourage you to get with Muzz, get with Muzz and his team. They have done the heavy lifting for many people, and they're making it easier for you to say yes and to really align what you're trying to do. The second thing I would say is pick a date. Pick a time that you know is going to be that's going to work for you, that you can commit to. Um, and I would say if have something that if 100 people wanted to work with you, here's how they could work with you, right? If 50 people wanted to work with you, like if you start thinking like that, and this is something that was told to me by somebody that said, he said, Benny, if you went viral and 100 people wanted to work with you right now, that's what he told me years ago. He goes, could you work with them? I said, no, I can't. He goes, you have a poverty mindset then, because you got to think how to handle volume. Because when you handle volume, you add value, right? And so I think for me, that's what I've been focusing in on, moving away from the solopreneur approach to the more team approach, to the more who do we need, what kind of investments we need to make, sparing no cost if possible when needed. At the same time, being frugal with our finance, like there's all those things that you need to do in order to begin thriving in your business. But I think overall, it's something that for me, I really see as you know the next step for people in the market, especially if you're a coach, consultant, and entrepreneur, or you have a product, program, or service that can generate leads, and you want to take people to the next step. You need something that's going to be able to showcase your knowledge, your expertise, and what your audience thinks about it. It's a great way for you to really get real-time feedback versus thinking, does this work? Put it out there and see if it actually works. You just got to do it.
Absolutely, bro. That's amazing because that's exactly what challenges are for, right? Getting feedback and improving as we grow. Definitely. I really appreciate you, Benny, jumping on the short interview. That's Benny Salas for you guys. I hope this interview was very valuable for you. Now, one thing is, like, just in case you're thinking of doing a challenge or anything of that sort, first let's have a talk. You know, like at the first time when I and Benny were talking, it's like I didn't just tell him about the challenge. We were on a call and we were discussing some ideas, and the challenge actually showed up, and we started talking more and more about it. We framed a strategy. We just did it, right, Benny? And it just worked, right?
First of all, this all started with some graphics, and that was led to a challenge. And now we're both about to make some really good money. Like,
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Next figure, and then the next challenge we are gonna do for Benny, it's projected to be a six-figure one, right? Again, and this is going to be more. This was a six-figure challenge, the last one, and we almost messed it up. But this time we know what we don't need to do, what we are going to do, and we know exactly how to structure this around to make it work, right?
yep,
And
you got it.
it's going to be huge. But thank you so much, Benny, for giving your
Got
valuable
it.
time for this.
Thank you, guy.
It means a
Appreciate
lot.
you.
And yeah, let's get on a talk. You can connect with me on Facebook and we can hop on a quick call and we can talk more about this. At the same time, you can go ahead and follow Benny for his next challenge, and you shouldn't miss the Speak More and Monetize challenge for him. Benny Salas, every single social media you can think of, he's present there. All right. So that will be all, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.